we're waiting. We are YouTube.
Okay, so I can start.
Hold on, give it a minute.
Okay. If you're logging in and you can hear me, just message in the comments that you can hear us. And we will start shortly. Okay, ready? You good? Okay, so hi, welcome to What to Expect for 2023. Ivy Rivera is having some issues with her internet, and she's going to go on live tomorrow for part 2 of this. But for today, I am just going to do the astrology part. So, thank you. I see people are commenting. Hello, so thank you. Hopefully you are able to hear me just fine. So I want to talk about some of the highlights of 2023 and what's going on astrologically. So we are furthering ourselves into this age of Aquarius. And we are getting a very big glimpse of that this year, because probably the biggest thing that's happening is Pluto is going into Aquarius. But here's the thing, Pluto will only be in Aquarius for a very short time. So Pluto's going into Aquarius March 23rd to May 1st. And what happens when a planet goes in a short amount of time like that is that we get a glimpse of what is to come for 2024 and beyond. So Pluto is a slow mover. He just moves excruciatingly slow. The last time when Pluto entered Capricorn, where he's been, excuse me, it was 2008. So think about all the way back to where you were in 2008. And, we have been in that Pluto cycle for a really long time. So now Pluto is going to move into Aquarius. And if you remember correctly, when Saturn moved into Aquarius, that is when we went on shutdown for COVID. So that was, everybody noticed. Okay. So I expect that Pluto will make a similar huge announcement of itself. Now, you won't completely know what it is, but it does rule a certain house in your chart. So for each, so always check your rising sign, even your moon sign and your sun sign, because those are the themes that are going to be pertinent for you. Okay. February 1st, 2024 is when Pluto stays in Aquarius. So now we're just really focusing on getting that glimpse. Saturn is going to move into Pisces this year. So still in Aquarius until March 7th. And this is really going to bring some structure, because Saturn is structure, and Pisces really has to do with artistic abilities. It has to do with, the spiritual abilities. And I think that as a collective, we're probably going to get some kind of like maybe more boundaries on spirituality, or, we may have people in a higher, people who are in a higher position that might try to put more rules on spirituality. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But on the other end, we could also have people committing to doing spiritual work more, because Saturn's all about, commitment as well. As far as the Pluto going into Aquarius, we are going to have a separate show about that. So we will talk about that at the time. But basically, Pluto going into Aquarius, Pluto it's very deep change. It's basically a rebirth. So when Pluto goes into another house, another sign, you start to see maybe the bad parts of that sign, or the bad parts of that house. That way you can look and see what is bad and purge it, and kind of rebuild your life on new ideas. So we will go into a whole, we're going to have a whole show on before Pluto gets to Aquarius, while it finishes out, where it is now in Capricorn, and we will talk about Pluto in Aqua. The Mars retrograde, I think that Ivy put up the clips that I had for each sign. They are on her website. So if you could check out her YouTube channel or her Facebook or maybe Instagram, I think they're all on there. And it's Mars retrograde ends January 12th, but it's still in shadow until March 15th. And this year we have Mercury retrograding in the earth signs. So we have the year actually starts with Capricorn, Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, which is today, which would be why Ivy is having all these issues. And plus she is a Gemini as well. So when you are ruled by Mercury, Mercury retrograde usually affects you a lot more. So it's in Capricorn, rethinking goals, rethinking structures in your life. Then it will be that's now till the January 18th. Mercury retrograde in Taurus, April 21st to May 14th. So, reviewing your wealth, how much importance you're putting on material things and money, as opposed to, the things that matter in life, such as people and, your relationships. And then August 23rd to September 15th, we have it in Virgo. So Virgo is all about the details. It's about learning. It's about committing to be an expert in something. And at that point, you'll be like reviewing those things, but also like your daily life, your health, all those things are Virgo things. And at the end of the year, December 13th to January 1st, again, we'll be in Capricorn, Mercury retrograde Capricorn, and Sagittarius. So all earth signs. So think like, grounding, material items, goals, money. Okay. So, and we also have the nodes are changing signs as well. So we're going to shift our eclipses this year. So the nodes, sorry, I have all my notes here. The nodes are going into Libra. So that's the north node in Libra. South node is in Aries. So we're going to be getting rid of those relationships that no longer work for us. And we're going to be partnering up, but we're going to be partnering up with people who are on our vibration. And maybe not doing so much alone anymore, like not being, you get a lot more when you're working together with the same goal. So we're going to have to think about that. And one more event that I want to talk about and that we will have a show on eventually is Venus in retrograde in Leo this year. So I'm a Leo, and at one point, Venus stations right on my sun. So I'm sure that'll be super fun for me. But, we will be reviewing love, how you feel in love, what makes you feel love, how do you show your love, what do you need to feel love, especially for the Leos. We're going to explore and review our talents, our money, our empowerment. It's going to be a big deal, Venus in retrograde. So we will talk more about that. I didn't want to touch on anything that was too deep, but we're going to go over all the themes for every sign. Okay. So you're back with me. So we're going to go right into Aries. So
Okay,
obviously,
hold on one more second. Christina, could you make the announcement one more time for everyone who tuned in late, and also get them to give this video a thumbs up, and then just go ahead and roll with it.
Okay. So we, Ivy will be filming part 2 tomorrow. Do we have a time for that? We have a time for that?
That's at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, 8:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, December 30th, and it will be part 2 for all the signs because Ivy is having internet connection issues and does not want to glitch on here, and then you won't get the full message, and that would just be frustrating. We know not to argue with Mercury retrograde. We've learned our lessons. Okay, is that good? Good. All right, so for Aries, obviously May is huge because we have Jupiter going from Aries into Taurus. Okay, so your friendship groups may reveal that not everyone's on your side. you may have a lot of people and groups that you have to purge. We have big gains that can be made when Jupiter enters into your second house. So the good news for you, Aries, is you can make a lot of money when Jupiter moves into that second house. It usually brings blessings of income, money, self-worth, where you're working and you know your self-worth. So you're not going to, you're going to charge according to what your service is worth. So that is really good news for Aries. Pluto, March 23rd to May 1st is going into your 11th house. So, you might end up seeing the ugly of these relationships that you have, or these groups that you belong to. And it might be time to purge them and, get new ones that support you. Now, this also has to do with your goals, wishes, and dreams. So, and money that you make from how your day-to-day work. So if Pluto's going in here, everything's going to change. Your goals are going to change, and you're probably like, no way, but they will. And you'll get a real glimpse of this when Pluto is in, but you really have to pay attention for the glimpse. You might be getting messages of what's to come. So just, kind of make mental note or write things down if something comes to you, seems odd, but you're like, what, I'm going to write this down and just see. Let's see. So many financial opportunities to make money. So Aries, you're already super, entrepreneurial. I would take this and run with it. So and also too, Jupiter only goes, around each sign every 12 years. So this is your time to really focus on money matters and making the most of it. The North Node is in your first house. So again, there's something about you that is going towards your destiny, something about your body. So I expect that a lot of Aries will be hitting the gym. I expect that you're going to be putting your best foot forward and letting go of any relationships that are not working for you. So this could be business partnerships. This could also be romantic relationships. So if you are in a romantic relationship that is not for you, you could be ending that this year and maybe focusing on career a little more. Saturn will move into your 12th house. So this is going to be perhaps, this is the ending of a cycle for you, for Saturn. So your structures are going to dissolve. Boundaries probably going to dissolve. You're going to have to face some of the psychic, maybe more your subconscious stuff, and perhaps structure a way to pray or a way to talk to God, whether that be meditation, prayer, whatever. But Saturn there is kind of saying, okay, we're ending this 12-year cycle or this 28-year cycle. And we need to, before we go into your first house, and that's not until next year, we need to wrap up your subconscious thinking. So we're going to, we're going to look at what's going on in your mind. So this is a really good time for therapy, things like that. I do expect Aries to be into their physical health, and Mercury retrograde in the earth signs will have you looking at your status, your work and health issues. So pay attention to that. All right. So we have Taurus. So for Taurus, so Pluto moves into your 10th house, giving you a glimpse of how your status and reputation and your what you're known for and career is changing. Something has to change dramatically and be reborn. You'll go deeper because Pluto's all about depth and getting to the bare bones of things. So be a do-over or rebirth with your career and your reputation over the next 20 years. And Saturn in the 11th says you will have more boundaries on the groups you belong to, acquaintances. You have to you have to really pick and choose who you're going to spend your time with. You might want to work really hard on your hopes, wishes, and dreams. Wherever Saturn goes, there tends to be restrictions. So maybe you'll drop some of these groups that you belong to, but there will be work involved probably in the groups that you do stay in, and maybe a commitment to one specific group as well. So it could be really a good time, but your circles will be smaller, if that makes sense. Jupiter goes into your first. So this is always really good. That happens, Jupiter in the first, May 16th. So when Jupiter goes into that first sign, you're more visible. You're seen as blessed. People are noticing you more. So this is just a really good time. You're in the spotlight. You're visible to everyone. Love is very possible now when Jupiter is in your opposite the seventh house. So, somebody could be coming in for love. Could be a surprise too. There's also with Uranus being there, Jupiter coming in, maybe even like some money opportunities there. Maximize the spotlight though when Jupiter is in your first. Realize that people are looking at you with the extra blessing. So do that the right way. Make them look at you for what counts, not what doesn't count. Okay, and then we have the nodes. For Taurus. It's so South node in the 6th, North node in the 12th. So basically what's happening there is going to be a purging of any daily habits that you have that are just not good for you. And you're just going to have to toss them one by one. The North node in the 12th means that you're strengthening your spirituality. You're connecting more with spirit. You could be doing some charity work. Helping others. Basically, when the North Node is here, you are called to service. So do the best you can as far as serving groups that are not, they're more like the groups that are hidden, like people with diseases or people in the hospital, people that really need help. This is a great time to help them. All right. And we have Gemini. So Gemini, for the year, we have Pluto moving into your 9th house. So Pluto in Aquarius in the 9th house. So this is going to change. Now, if you remember, Saturn was here for a while. So you were probably restricted from going anywhere. You probably felt housebound, I'm sure, because it was during COVID. But with Pluto in this area, it's going to drastically change your philosophies about life. Definitely going to go deeper into philosophies. If you are involved in higher education, that could be changing for you. There could be something, you could be going deeper with that. Anything law related, it would be, because this is the house of law. There could be overturning. I would just be careful here with Pluto there, because usually, the ugly comes up first before the transformation. So just watch with any legal stuff. We have, but I really feel like by the time Pluto is really in there, your philosophy on life is going to change quite a bit. Saturn is going to be in your 10th house. So this is often restriction in your job or restriction on being seen. So whether this is, you making a commitment to, a job and working really hard, or this is like reduced visibility in your job, that's always possible too, because Saturn tends to delay, but if you do the work, it does not deny. So if you find yourself working really hard in 2023, especially towards the middle of the year, just know that that's Saturn, and he gives his gifts later when he moves into the next sign, the next house. So you want to make sure that you're being very diligent and honest for the next 2 years with who you are, your reputation, and your career. Jupiter will move into, so Jupiter right now is in your groups and hopes, wishes, and dreams. So that's going to continue for a little while. So there'll be blessings there, but it's going to move into your 12th. And when it does move into your 12th, you do get a little bit of extra guardian angel energy. So some things might just work out and you don't have any real reason for them. And then you realize, oh, like, I must have been somebody else watching, that had my back. So, and this can also, if you are a person in the spirit world who does spiritual work, then this could actually like kind of give you some nice blessings and boost you, because Jupiter is expansion wherever it goes. So, if you have spiritual gifts, this could enhance them. If you work in the spiritual world, this could be extra blessings for that. And lastly, we have the nodes. The nodes are where we're going, what we have lessons in. The South Node is what we're leaving behind. So for Gemini, you might be leaving behind some cycles that you had in romance in the past. Some kind, like something that you did that was negative. It was a negative cycle. You need to purge it. Could be cycles with your children too, that you're purging, like maybe, I don't know, maybe you have a teenager at home and you just don't get along, or, like you're going to be purging that and trying to work on the relationship a little bit more. Maybe, even if like you had a child and you didn't get along very well, maybe you guys go out and do some group things, because right now the North Node is in the area of groups and hopes, wishes, and dreams. So, maybe relating to a child when you're out doing group things is better than when you're at home. Also, any creative projects that you need to purge would be going at this time, and you would be looking at like maybe more public things, maybe more like broadcasting, internet things, more out there. And yeah, and then, like what with the 5th house, South Node, just purging any old stagnant romantic energy if you are in a relationship. If not, have this time be a time where you're purging any bad any bad mindsets that you have. And Jupiter in the 12th will help you with that as well. Okay. And Cancer. So Cancer, we have Pluto moving into your 8th house. So this is interesting. Cancers, you'll be seeing a full change in the money that you get from other people, or like things like stocks, things like child support, things like, like if there might be, could be now a some kind of money that comes to you that might be ending, and you have to figure out how to make up that amount of money. Like maybe you're saving for retirement, yet no more money is going to go into retirement, so now you got to figure that out. Or maybe you're going to take the money that you have and put it in a different spot, but there's going to be some kind of moving around of like investments and things like that. There will be changes there. Also, this is the house of psychological, deep psychological stuff. So you might be really remembering traumas. They might be coming up for you. The great time to go see a therapist, just kind of looking at the ugly of the psyche and then transforming it to benefit you. Saturn, we have moving into your 9th house. So this is going to be, it could be a commitment to higher education. If that's a possibility for you, maybe you're going to commit to taking college classes or commit to teaching something. But Saturn says here you're going to do some hard work. Either the hard work will be in a legal matter, a higher education matter, philosophical area. But this is also political beliefs and things like that. So you might be restricted on saying anything. Sometimes, like it can come back to bite us. So you might be kind of silenced with that for a little while, your opinions. Jupiter starts out with it being in your 10th house for the first part of the year, but then it moves into your 11th house. So Jupiter right now is in a good spot because it is in your career spot, giving you extra blessings. However, in May, it's going to move to the 11th house, which is going to really put blessings on any kind of broadcasting on the internet. If you were to meet somebody, probably the internet would be the best place to meet somebody, using precautions, of course. But after May 16th, I would say, like you'll meet somebody, but it would have to be like in groups that you belong to or like an internet connection. Also, the North Node is in your 10th house. So moving into the 10th house, you're going to be more independent in your work. And you're going to, with the North Node here, I would think that you have karmic responsibilities, karmic fulfillment here in your job. So whatever you're doing in your job, a very important year for this year, for your career, your job, your reputation. And what you are purging this year would be family karma, lots and lots of family karma, old cycles that are inborn that you don't even realize are there, have been ingrained in you. It's in your blood. It's in your DNA. So it's time to take a look at that, purge it. What brings you security is probably changing your home life. You could be leaving a home behind. You could be dealing with real estate and going towards more career stuff, less about the home. Okay. Leo. Leo, we have Pluto going into our 7th house, which has to do with relationships. So all of our relationships, what's going to happen, and you may have been feeling this for a while now, because Pluto you often feel before it actually gets there. But if you are very woke to this energy, we have been getting rid of any partners that are not solid. They're not truthful. They're not, can't be counted on. We're just getting rid of anything that's not deep. Superficial just will not cut it. It has to be deep. Saturn moving into our 8th house. Not really fun. A lot of psychological stuff coming up right now. I'm getting, because it's already in my 8th, and I know just from experience, I'm getting a lot of those moments like, oh, that's why that happened. Because don't forget, Saturn rules karma, right? So when it goes into that 8th house, you're going to kind of see why things were the way they are, why they happen that way. And it's going to kind of be like, oh, I get it now. But yet a lot of not so fun things come up for you that, it probably would be a good time for therapy. Intimacy may be restricted because this is the house of deep intimacy as well, and shared money. So if you just have money sitting around in a bank account and you don't want to touch it, but it's not really working for you, this might be the year where you put some structure to that. Okay, well, eventually I'm going to retire, so I'm going to put the money here, here, and here, or I'm going to invest it here. And you might, at first, you might not see any results from that at all. You might be like, oh, what did I do? Or you know what I mean? Like you might just be like, oh, that money, I don't know if it's going to do anything, but it's kind of like a delay at first, and then later on pays off, hopefully. Jupiter being in the 9th house, starting out the year. So right now, it has to do with travel. It has to do with spirituality. It has to do with the internet, broadcasting. So blessings on that right now. Teaching. Well, it's going to move into our 10th house, and that is a 1 in 12 year cycle for us. So Jupiter being in that part of the chart does bring us blessings in career. It brings expansion. So, if you are looking to expand your career, if you're looking to expand your reputation, these are all really good things. And Pluto being in that part of the chart that talks about partnerships, business and romantic, it's going to be like, okay, well, now in order to, partner with anybody, it has to be real, it has to be good. And then Jupiter is there saying, we're going to bless that. So there's going to be opportunities for expansion. North Node is in the 9th. So this is favorable for legal matters. This is favorable for education, any kind of education or teaching or broadcasting. So moving more towards those areas. And what are you purging? You're going to be purging maybe, some ways that you used to communicate. You're going to kind of change the way you communicate a bit. You could be changing, your job could now be more travel than it was before. Or maybe you're getting rid of the travel, probably true. Maybe you're getting rid of the travel and you're doing more broadcasting, whereas like you had to travel to places before, but now you can do it on the internet. This could be your sisters or brothers, or also like neighbors going, like maybe neighbors are moving out and new ones are moving in or something like that, or the way that you're communicating with your neighbors is going to change. But there's definitely something there about that. All right. And then we have Virgo. So Virgo, Pluto is going to move into your 6th house of health and your day-to-day, everything you do in the day-to-day. And this is also your house of work as well. So you're going to have to get to the root cause of what is getting in the way of good health for you. So, if you're not eating right, if there's something you've been ignoring, well, Pluto's going to come there and it's going to bring it right up in your face. And it's going to say, okay, this all needs to change. You have to look at this. You got to change it, whether that be exercise, the foods that you eat, your actual job, what you do day to day. Could be any of those things. Also, too, pets are in this area too. So maybe some new pets. But pay attention to your pets when Pluto goes in here. Remember, you're just going to get that little glimpse of what's to come. Saturn in the 7th. This can be a commitment to a partner in love. Also could be a business relationship that you are committing to. If you are single, this is typically a time of being alone, at least in the beginning, and then maybe looking for a long-term partner. Let's see. We have Jupiter moving from your 8th. So Jupiter in the 8th right now is actually good because that blesses money, and usually money that you have in stocks or investments, things like that. Also intimacy. And in May 16th, it's going to go into your 9th house. So this is going to be blessings on broadcasting, this would be a very big favorable time for a lawsuit. If you were dealing with legal matters, that would be a good time, favorable time. We also have travel there. So you could be doing some long distance traveling, which, would be blessed. We also have the North Node in the 8th house. So definitely looking at your finances, looking at how you're going to save money for the rest, of your life. And what are we purging? You might be purging some toxic feelings about your self-worth. I know Virgos do struggle with self-worth and being so critical on themselves. So now is going to be the time where you're kind of getting rid of those old attitudes and trying to figure out, those bad psychological thoughts about yourself. You could be purging a way that you earn money too. Probably just for another way, but there's something that you're purging about the way you earn an income and your self-worth. Okay, so we have Libra, and Libra, you will be having Pluto come to your 5th house. So for Libra, it's going to be interesting. This is all about love and children. So some Libras could be looking at the relationship that they're in and looking out and saying, oh, this is not good. There's a lot of stuff here that isn't good. So let's look at it and try to heal it. Or this could be a breakup. Okay, this isn't working. We've got to go. But there's going to be a big change either in a cycle or, or a relationship, but there will be a big change in romance for Libras for the next 20 years. And if it's not a partner, most likely will be like a cycle with a partner, but it could also be, changes for your children as well. Or maybe some of you will have children. So this is definitely shakeups and changes in that area. Saturn going into the 6th for Libra, just making sometimes this makes your day job not so fun. There becomes a lot of restrictions. Maybe, I remember the year I had Saturn here and it was like, oh, do I have to deal with work today? It was like long and painful, but I knew in the back of my mind that if I stayed the course, it would be good. And it was, once Saturn moved out of there, I was like, all right, this is actually pretty good. For Jupiter right now is in the area of relationships. So is the North Node. So if you are with somebody right now, this could be your long-term person. When Pluto moves into that 5th house, things might change a little bit, but could get deeper too. It could be a commitment as well. Jupiter is going to move into that 8th house, making, stocks, investments, having blessings there. Also blessings to heal any psychological traumas, any intimacy, like, sexual intimacy, deep intimacy, all good for that. And the South Node, you're basically, you're trying to get rid of any way that people look at you that you don't like. Like maybe people see you as not really ever standing up for one side. You're going to change that. The wishy-washy stuff has to go. It's like, you need to purge that part and, come into your own power a little bit more. Okay. And we have Scorpio. So for Scorpio, interesting because they have a change in residence when Pluto moves into Aquarius. Now, this could be the residence that you live in, maybe like remodeling, moving. And remember, it's just a glimpse for this year. And then 2024 will be the year that everything probably happens. But you're getting that glimpse now that something on the home front is changing, something within the family structure changing. And, will be different for a very long time because Pluto stays there, for like 20 years. Saturn in the 5th could be a commitment. I know a lot of Scorpios are getting serious about their relationships. So, maybe a proposal, something like that. However, sometimes this can bring, if you're not in a relationship, this can bring loneliness for a little while until, Saturn moves out of there. Not the best time for dating if you're not already in a relationship. You may feel some restriction in a relationship if you are there, but it can also be commitment too, which, when you decide to commit to someone or something, that you are putting you're limiting, your options. So, you're making a commitment. So that just could be what it is here. Jupiter moving from the 6th to the 7th. So this is putting blessings. I'm just guessing some people here are going to get engaged. That's what I'm guessing. But Jupiter will have blessings on both business partnerships and romantic partnerships. So if you're in a romantic partnership, great. Saturn here, I would wait till if you're a Scorpio and you're single, wait till May to start really expecting someone special to come in, because I feel like until then you just have to kind of right now, because the North Node is in your 6th, so you really have to perfect your day-to-day life, your work habits, get everything in order. And then you have to purge any psychological issues that you have maybe from the past or past life issues. There's karma that's being, transcended right now. So I would watch, and if you really are looking for a partnership, middle of May. Sagittarius. So Pluto moves into your third house. So the third house has to do there's probably going to be a change in travel. So whether you're driving around for work or maybe you're getting like a new way to move around. Maybe I don't know, maybe you're on a bike and now you're going to be in a car or something. There's something changeable though about that, and your communication. So there's something there that's going to be different. Maybe the way that you interact in the community, that could be different. You could be seen as more serious. It could transform. Saturn in your fourth maybe puts restrictions on the house. Sometimes here we have people who remodel when Saturn goes into the fourth. So it could be remodeling, but it's almost like scaling down for your house or for your home, your family. If you move, typically it's like into a smaller space. And Sagittarius, we have, so right now Jupiter is in your fifth, which makes, romantic relationships very blessed and probably, expand. But Jupiter's going to move into that sixth house where it will be, blessings will be on your health. Blessings will be on your job, and maybe like expansion in your job too. Health and wellness are covered here too. So, the good time to heal. With that north node in your fifth and your south node in your 11th. So I would say move away from the groups that you belong to. They are not benefiting you right now. You're going to want to be more yourself, be more creative. And stick with partnerships, as far like romantic partnerships are going to probably be more beneficial to you than groups that you belong to. And leadership skills too. So you're supposed to kind of, I don't know if there's creative projects going on, but you're supposed to kind of take the bull by the horns there and figure that out. And also any relationships that are not working out for you will be, will be purged. Okay, so we have, so we have Pluto is, so for Capricorn, Pluto is moving into your second house. So this is going to be a relief for Capricorns because for the past 18 years, they've had Pluto in their first house and in their sign. So Pluto, it's really tough when Pluto's in your sign. Makes you get to the heart of things, makes you dig really deep on your identity. So they will feel a relief from this. When Pluto moves into your second house, it's going to be a change in your self-worth and a change in the money that you make or how you make that money. Okay, so to pay attention to those finances because there will be a glimpse. Maybe you're earning money more with, interacting with people. There's something here that's really changing that's kind of big. Also, Saturn is going to move into your third. So your communication does seem like it is maybe delayed or restricted in some way. Maybe you have to put boundaries on the way that you're communicating or the way that you're traveling. You might have to travel for work now instead. Maybe you didn't before. We also have Jupiter moving from the fourth. So Jupiter's been in your family house, blessing your family structure, homes. It's going to move into that fifth house, which is going to bless romantic relationships for you, which is great because I think that last year we said Capricorns might have a baby. So I don't know if any Capricorns had babies, but you have just as much of a chance this year, adding to the family. And that North Node being in the fourth, that North Node being in the fourth and South Node being in that 12th, you're purging, the 10th, you're purging who you were, how you were seen, and you are going towards building your family. All right, so we have Aquarius. We're almost to the end. I always get so tired at the end. Aquarius is going to probably be the most relieved. Well, Capricorn and Aquarius, because Saturn's moving out of your sign. And when Saturn's in your sign, it's very karmic time. So Aquarians have not had the best 2 years of their life because if you had good karma, then, you probably got rewarded for it somewhat. But there was probably something that really at first restricted you. Felt like, Saturn sometimes can feel like handcuffs. It's just restricting you from doing things. So there probably was something in the beginning, and then, what was restricting you, what was making you be responsible. Something was making you adult. And now it's moving into the second. So there might be some restriction on self-worth still, but you still have to keep working. There might be some restrictions on finances, might be some scaling down, budgeting. That's a good thing. So it's not that the money's not there. It's just you need to scale down, spending habits, I guess. So putting boundaries on your money is basically what you're looking at. But Pluto moving into the first, kind of a big deal, guys, kind of a big deal, going into your sign. So, looking at yourself deeply, looking at how you interact in the community deeply, how people see you deeply, going to be looking at your body and your health very deeply, getting rid of anything toxic. Also, Jupiter is in the third for the first part of the year, which gives blessings on communication, internet, but it's going to move into that fourth house, giving you blessings on family or home. This would be a great time to sell a house, buy a house. So middle of the year for Aquarius. A lot of Aquarians could be changing their residence. And the North Node being in, the North Node. North Node is in your third, and we're going to be purging any philosophies that no longer serve you. Maybe you'll be changing the way you broadcast things, not favorable for lawsuits. So try to stay out of legal matters. What you're going to be going towards is travel, communication. There could be something going on with you and your siblings that, that is destined. Something with your thought process too, changing the way you think for the better, more progressive, being able to communicate better. So big year for Aquarius there. And lastly, but not least, of course, Pisces. And so Pisces is going to not love this. Sorry, Pisces. But your Saturn is going to move from Aquarius to Pisces. So now Pisces are up for Saturn being in their sign. So since Pisces is kind of the sign for no boundaries, and Saturn is the planet of boundaries, Pisces it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Might just not feel that great. But, it's going to make you have a container on things. It's going to force you to have a container, and not, you're going to have boundaries on yourself, on your body. You might feel restricted at first, but know that you're learning something for a reason. You're restricting, you're putting up boundaries for a reason, and it will pay off eventually. Pluto moves into the 12th, which is a very subconscious place for it to be. So your subconscious thoughts and your dreams are going to be they could even be like super psychic. They could be the dream book keeps coming up. Ivy, the one that you are, writing, like knowing your dream symbols, to be taking the dreams class, because there's going to be a lot of past life stuff coming up. There's going to be a lot of karma in this life that comes up, your thought processes. A lot of that might manifest in your dreams. So pay attention to that. Any subconscious thoughts that you're getting, pay attention to that, because that needs to be looked at and changed. Also, Jupiter right now is in your second house, which is your money-making house, which is great. It'll be there till May. Once it moves, you are going to want to focus on communicating You're going to want to focus on anything in the community. It will bring blessings to that. Even like internet stuff that you do could bring blessings to that. The North Node being in that second house says that what I think while Saturn is putting boundaries on you, that North Node is saying now that you have these boundaries, you're going to feel better about yourself. So that's going to be a blessing right there, so that you will no longer, not have relationships where you are no longer being treated as you are worth. You're going to know your worth by the end of this Saturn transit for Pisces. They will know what they are worth, and they're going to feel better about themselves because of it. All right. So, Ivy, any questions? I'm not taking questions from the audience, but
could you just announce one more time why we ended up having to do it this way? Get everybody to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and announce tomorrow's show as an extension to this. You did awesome, Christina. Thank you.
So we're very sorry that we didn't get to both work in tandem, because that's how we work best usually. But, Ivy had some communication issues. Mercury is retrograde. It's her planet, and it went retrograde today. So she was having horrible difficulties with her internet. So we just kind of had to do it this way. So they're coming out tomorrow. They're going to fix it for her, and she will be available. Her show will be tomorrow at 8:30, December 30th at 8:30. And everybody needs to please, if you can, give a thumbs up on this video, and a comment would be great as well. We appreciate you. We appreciate you tuning in. We're very hopeful. There's a lot of changes going on. May is going to be crazy. March is just a huge month astrologically. So and March is going to be key when you're looking for those hints of what's to come. So it's exciting. I can't wait to see what happens. But thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Mary. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Have a great night.
You too.
Have a great year.